I'm George Flynn, and you're watching In-Depth TV. And today is a red letter day. Today is one of those days where you're going to come away from this show learning something extremely important to you, because we're talking about change. Change in your life. What type of change would you like to see? Everybody talks about wanting change, and very few changes are made. But everyone wants one. But what is it that keeps us from changing? Well, most of us are programmed, and we do the same thing every day. We don't change much. As a matter of fact, some of us don't change anything. We have the same day after day after day. So what do we have to change? What would you like to change? What area of your life? Do you want more money? Most people say they want more money. Can you get more money? Can you change your financial situation? Can you change your social situation? Can you have a better relationship in your family with your mother, your father, your sisters, brothers, husband, wife, children? Can you change that? Better relationship with your dog or cat or pet? What changes would you like to see? Money? Family relationships? Social relationships? Would you like to have more friends? Would you like to have, more engaging conversation rather than just hello, how are you? So you say, fine, how are you? Rather than that engaging conversation, which is programmed and is almost automatic. Time. What about how you spend your time? Would you like to be able to manage your time a little better? Would you like to manage those areas in your life a little better? Would you like to have more control over your schedule? What about your health? Would you like to change that? Would you like to weigh more, weigh less? Would you like to be in shape? What is it in your life you'd like to change? And you notice I say, what is it? Because I only want to see you change one thing at a time. Focus very narrowly on this one thing for broad results in your entire life. Okay, so change. We've identified areas or area that we'd like to change. And so you have come up with this change mechanism. Well, you say, I just don't know if I can change. I have the same day over and over. I drive to work, I drive to carpool, or I drive somewhere the same way every day. I can't change. Well, have you ever changed? Let's talk about that. Well, we know you've changed because when you were born, you were crawling around on the floor and you learned how to walk. So you've changed there. And maybe you learned how to swim. Maybe you learned how to drive a car. Now that's a change. You got to be coordinated. You know, especially if you're driving a stick shift, got to figure out the clutch, the brake, the accelerator, the gear knob, where the gear shift is and the position. So what have you learned how to do in the past that was a change? You learned how to go to school. You learned how to graduate from grade to grade. Those were changes. You know how to change. But what's your mechanism of change? How do you personally do it? Well, there's some processes that most people go through. Some go through them in an instant. Some go through them in a week, a month. And we always talk about it takes 21 to 30 days to make a new habit, but we'll get to that. Some changes life changes are instantaneously. They're performed instantaneously, or they're pushed on us instantaneously, and we adapt and we make the changes. So the first simple steps of this process are, number one, you're in the status quo. You're who you are. And who you are is probably okay. You're probably doing okay, well enough. You're sort of satisfied. But who you are, and how did you get to where you are? You're there. So we're in the status quo, and you know who you are, but then some guy like me comes along and says, who do you want to be? And who you are and who you want to be are two different things. So all of a sudden you have a new idea of who you want to be. Now that may be your own self-talk, your own self-motivation, but it may be someone else saying, you need to change, you need to do this, you need to do that. Or you won't be married, or you won't have a job, or you won't have, and all of a sudden somebody says something to you that says, you need to change. Or there may be a new concept. You know, a few years ago, and I'm talking about a very few years ago, when we got a phone call, we'd have a quarter or a dime or whatever it was, put it in a payphone and stop and make a phone call. Now we have iPhones, iPads, Androids. We have all kind of communication devices. Well, we have made changes. We have adapted to this. This is a new concept. And this new concept in our lives made a huge change. So huge, and so we would call it addictive, that we had to make laws. Don't text and drive. And there are even laws now saying don't hold a phone and drive. Because this new technology, these new things in our life have changed us. And when we adapt to these, we'll talk about why we adapt. What happened in your life that something changed, that you had to adapt? Well, first of all, when you get this new idea, then it's very smooth sailing and you just go right. No, that's not right at all. You go into absolute chaos in that one area of your life. Now you can manage just so many forms of chaos at once. So that's the reason I'm saying let's focus on one thing at a time. And the chaos is all of this new information, all of these new devices, all of the new opportunities to make money, all the new opportunities to do things with my family. Chaos, how do you fit this in? How do you fit this into your life? You got this brand new smartphone, but you know the chaos of it is you got to plug it in every day or every night. You got to charge it up. You got to keep it charged. You got to have all these accessories to charge it in your car, on a plane, on a boat, in the rain. You got to be able to charge these up. You got to have the cases for them. And it's just, you know, detail after detail. It's a little bit of chaos right there in your life. And you say, oh my gosh, I wonder what this is, wonder how it fits in. How does it fit in? Well, what is chaos? It's a lack of order and a lack of stability. So things are unstable. Now, when chaos is going on in the world, that's the time you need to be steady, look at the situation and say, how can we improve things? How can I improve my life, my family's life? How can I prove it? Because when everything's changing, you may see it as negative, but it's really your opportunity to change with the times rather than fight the times. Because the times are going to change. You can fight all you want. They're going to change. And it's better to go with the flow. Bend with the wind. Don't break with the wind. Just bend with the wind. So that's part of it. So when chaos comes, you say, oh no, you don't get all frustrated. Some people, you can go, then you have a choice with chaos. You can either say, I can't do this, go back to the way you were, but you'll always know where you could have gone. But go back to the way you were and relax. And let the whole movement pass you by. Or you can get into the chaotic portion of it and find a way to pull this into your life, to incorporate it, to integrate it within your life, in whatever's going on in your life. You can bring this, you can either say, I'm never getting one of those crazy phones, I'm never getting on the computer, I'm never getting on those social platforms, or you can say, let's see what it's about, and get into it and look at it. Because if anyone else in life can deal with these things, you can too. They're not made to exclude people, they're made to include people, and you're to be included. So then you've got incorporation. And you've brought this new pattern or new habit into your life of utilizing a cell phone, or going out of town with your family once a month, or you've got something that takes up some time, and you remember we talked about time management. So how do you get this to be a real part of your life? Because the first couple of times you do it, it feels really strange. But then you practice. You do it over and over and over. Not dull practice. I'm talking about you just do the activity because you want to. And then all of a sudden, this becomes the new normal for you. Where you say, well, I exercise every day. Well, why do you do that? That's just part of me. That's what I do every day. But the first couple of times you did it, you said, this doesn't feel right. I shouldn't be exercising. I don't know about this. But then after a few days and a few weeks, you say, well, why you exercise? Well, that's just part of my life. I do it every day. And it becomes automatic. That's what we're looking for, is this new idea, this new little change in your life becoming automatic. And then you say, we're done. Oh no, not so fast. Not so fast. Then you go back up to step number 1 and you say, is this who I want to be? Is everything about this perfect? If it is, that's good. I don't believe it is. But if it is, fine. If it's not, you say, okay, what do I want to change? And you come right back through the new idea of the new things you want to do. Then you know what's going to happen. Chaos, of course. Chaos is going to happen. Then you're going to sort it out. As you used to say, sort, sift, and separate. We'll get it separated and sorted out. And then we're going to incorporate that into our life, practice it till it becomes the new norm for us. Then what do? That's right, back to step number 1. So it's a sequential process. It's in the computer language, they call it an iterative process. You iterate, you change one thing, you come back down through the entire lifestyle, life processes, and you make that change permanent.